Well, we gather in anxious economic times. On the national level, the causes for concern are plain enough. The bubble has burst in overheated real estate markets all over the country. Financial markets and institutions are in disarray in the wake of the credit meltdown with the virtual collapse of Bear Stearns, one of the nation's largest investment banks, showing just how far the mighty can fall. The price of crude oil is over $100 a barrel and expected to stay there for the foreseeable future, and the price of gasoline may well approach $4 a gallon. The number of newly laid off workers filing unemployment claims in America is the highest it's been in months, and the Conference Board's index of leading economic indicators has fallen for 5 months in a row now. Call it recession or whatever you want. Things are not going well right now in the U.S. economy. And in an economy based on consumption, consumers are not feeling confident about spending more. Still, Massachusetts is holding its own, and I want you to know that. Home sales are slowing and prices are falling, but not precipitously, not as fast or as dramatically as they are in other parts of the country. The Massachusetts unemployment rate is actually lower than it was a year ago, while unemployment nationally has gone higher. At 4.5%, the Massachusetts unemployment rate has been below the U.S. jobless rate for 9 straight months. The state is losing jobs in retail and construction, and I'm worried about that. But we continue to add jobs in education and health services, as well as professional, scientific, and business services, really the heart of our knowledge-based economy. And that makes me proud. Overall job creation in Massachusetts has improved considerably when compared to the economic performance during the 4 years of the previous administration. And the kinds of jobs we have added have a multiplier effect. According to a study conducted by the Millikan Institute, every direct job in life sciences, meaning scientists, technicians, lab assistants, biomanufacturing engineers, creates 3.6 indirect jobs, those for suppliers and vendors and support services. A study by Northeastern University put that number at 5 times for everyone in life sciences. So far, at least, Massachusetts is weathering the economic storm better than most. That's a change from the last 3 U.S. recessions. Each of those downturns hit Massachusetts earlier and harder than the rest of the national economy, and they lasted longer. In the current issue of Mass Benchmarks, UMass economist Alan Clayton Matthews writes that the drag of a slowing national and regional economy is counterbalanced by, quote, the upward force on growth due to national and worldwide demand for the technology-based products and knowledge-based services that Massachusetts supplies, unquote. These include information processing equipment and hardware, pharmaceuticals, including biotech drugs, scientific research and development, and financial services. No economy is recession-proof, let alone that of a single state. But Massachusetts is better armed against economic upheaval today than it has been in the past. And I want to start there, because I think it's important for us to keep some perspective on where we are and what we need to do. At some level, that is reassuring to me, and it ought to be to citizens of the Commonwealth at large. But frankly, if yours is the house about to be foreclosed upon, or that you cannot sell, if yours is the business whose sales are falling through the floor and that cannot get the working capital loan, if yours is the job just cut, statistics on general economic strength don't help you very much. They don't really give you comfort. The cost of everything, from home heating oil to food, is going up. The poor are in terrible, terrible shape. But the middle class are one paycheck away, one serious illness away, one layoff away from being poor, and are deeply anxious about it. State government is too small, too geographically constrained, and too fiscally hamstrung to ride to the rescue at times of broad national economic distress. Still, as anxiety builds, and with our people crying out for help, state government must do what it can. State government has its limitations, but it has its responsibilities as well. Over the past 15 months, we have pursued an economic agenda that builds on our strengths, our education system, our skilled workforce, and our quality of life. That partnership with companies, with municipalities, and with colleges and universities is the genesis of what good news there is in the Massachusetts economy. New jobs for today, new industries for tomorrow. I think we have to continue that course and to build on it. In the first place, I believe strongly that we should be investing in our human and physical capital. I meet and talk with CEOs and investors every week, the heads of homegrown Massachusetts companies looking to expand and grow, chief executives of multinational companies considering whether to locate a new facility or office in the Commonwealth, venture capitalists looking for the next big bet. None of them talk to me about taxes, not one. They talk about what they need to be successful in Massachusetts. Sometimes that's a loan, or a grant, or a key infrastructure improvement that would make a project they have in mind more feasible. Sometimes it's help identifying a site for their new operation or guidance through the permitting process. More often than not, they want to know how they can tap into the Massachusetts workforce, the highest skilled, most highly educated in the nation. Investing in ourselves, in other words, positions us for growth and economic security. We propose to do just that. That's why I propose investing in high-impact strategies like universal early education and extended learning time in my budget request. That's why I put the greatest educational minds in the Commonwealth to work on the Readiness Project, the team developing a strategy to implement the next phase in public education reform and improvement. That's why, with the legislature's support, I have restructured the boards and bureaucracies that govern our educational institutions, elevating education to cabinet level with the appointment of Paul Reville as the first Secretary of Education this Commonwealth has seen in more than a decade. State government has tangible, short-term investments to make as well, and they are long overdue. Thanks to a legacy of chronic neglect, we find ourselves with a crumbling infrastructure and a backlog of capital needs. That is why last year I directed my team to develop a new capital spending plan based on an analysis of what we can afford and what we must do over the next 5 years. That plan is the first of its kind in Massachusetts, is completely transformed, and I'm excited about it too, completely transparent, and I would add has now received the blessing of Wall Street, so that the rating agencies responsible for evaluating whether we have a sustainable level of debt believe and agree that what we have proposed to invest over the next 5 years is prudent. Based on that analysis, I have submitted bond bills in the areas of higher education, transportation, housing, energy and environmental programs, among others. I'm pleased with the progress they are making, and I thank my friends in the legislature for that. We should expect action on all of these bond bills within the next few weeks. With their support by this summer, I fully expect that we will have the authority to be rebuilding roads and bridges, modernizing public housing and building new, affordable units, renovating our state college and university campuses, improving beach, park, and recreational facilities, and preserving the open spaces that make Massachusetts so beautiful a place to live and work in. We are also identifying resources on hand to invest in specific projects in each area of the Commonwealth that will bring immediate economic impact. This is what I was just whispering to the mayor about. This spending will go hand in glove with reforms and oversight and savings efficiencies, such as those we announced just last week in transportation, where of all the things we announced, the thing that seemed to get the most attention was the flag man idea, which will replace police details wherever that makes public safety sense. In the short run, these capital and operating expenditures mean permanent and construction jobs, something we need right now. But they also mean lasting improvements in the quality of life in Massachusetts, our second most valuable